Hey there, I'm Greg Finn.
And I'm Jess Budd.
And it is officially Marketing O'Clock here on October 26, 2018. Remember, you can catch us live every Friday without a net at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or consume us via your favorite podcasting player.
And remember, you can always follow along with us in our show notes. Just head over to marketingoclock.com for all the links from the articles we're talking about today.
First up this week in the digital marketing news comes from Bing with a smarter way to target your audience with Bing ads and LinkedIn. So current beta for clients allows LinkedIn data to be used for targeting on the Bing ads platform. And this is big.
It's big with an N. Bing.
Bing. It's Bing. And we've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah.
And what this allows to do is actually for Microsoft to harness all of this massive repository of data. And for the first time, I think at least ever on this podcast / video show, this is something that Google doesn't have, that Bing is tapping into.
Wow.
And that Bing is kind of leading the way.
Excellent point.
And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to use that data from LinkedIn and pull that targeting into Bing ads. And you'll be able to target customers based on company, industry, job function, so on and so forth. And that is really big, especially knowing that the Bing advertising network that we jokingly call MAN here, but I think it's MSAN, Microsoft Ad Network is what they call it, but it's really MAN to us.
Yeah, soft isn't a separate word.
Right. And that's where it could be really big as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Because if we could get that LinkedIn job and just overall data and target it out to display across the web, that's where this gets really, really exciting for advertisers. So currently, you can sign up if you have a Bing Ads representative. You can call them and get access, or there is a sign up. Again, all the links for today are in the show notes. So give that a shot. And LinkedIn targeting now on Bing. The only caveat, it's still Bing. So, if we're saying, let's look at this. We can now target on search, on Bing search, on Bing search. Okay. So again, very, very cool. And to me, this is should be a bigger push towards the MSAN or the Microsoft Ad Network.
The MAN.
Yeah, again, Bing's kind of rebuttal towards the Google Display Network or GDN. So if that comes out there and that network continues to grow, that could be really awesome for marketers. So we're pretty pumped.
Yeah, I think it's a, like you said, a step in the right direction anyway. And I wonder if somehow, some way, Google is going to find something that they can do that, I don't want to say copies Bing, but I should, because Bing always copies Google. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they have anything that they can do creatively to compete with this. Again, they are Google and not Bing, but that's not fair, right? I mean, Bing is doing something cool here.
I got a good idea.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Fire Google Plus back up.
Ooh.
Last week we killed it. This week, fire it back up.
I thought they were keeping it for enterprises, right? Or something like that. So then that's perfect. That's the business data. Whatever. I don't know. It's exciting though. In other exciting news, I wrote in my notes, dude, this is super cool because I'm cool like that.
All right.
Facebook attribution is now available to all advertisers. So unless you've been living under a rock, attribution is all the rage right now, as it should be. And Facebook's officially on the attribution bandwagon. They have taken their attribution reporting out of beta, so it's available for everybody and it is free. It features a new data-driven attribution model that lets you, quote, see how your ads on Facebook, Instagram, the Audience Network, and Messenger are contributing to incremental business results compared to if you were not running ads, which I think is really important for people to know, because sometimes you can feel like on social, you assume there's awareness and you assume that it's helping, but you can't necessarily really see unless somebody is converting. So this should help with that. And they also said it's going to offer cross-device reporting. So The only thing with this is you can't just click into the report and start looking at it. You have to set it up and wait for data to collect. So that's fine, right? They told us that. We know that. So I tried to do this, though, unfortunately, and the ad account that I wanted to use was available. So I said, okay, use this ad account. And then you have to hook it up to a pixel. Basically, background on this, you set up basically groupings of ad accounts and pixels and conversion actions and things like that, so that it's only counting the things that you want it to count, which is also important if you're managing multiple accounts on Facebook. So anyway, I got in there, tried to set it up for one of my accounts. The account was there and available, but the pixel wasn't in the drop-down list of the available pixels, and I'm not sure why, because it works. There's no issues with the pixel. I double-checked that. So feels like even though this is out of beta, it's still a little bit wonky, and I haven't been able to test it yet. Have you tried it at all, Greg?
I have not. I have not.
Don't bother for a few days.
You know what, though? I will not be using that poor pixel that you've got.
Yeah.
And the one thing that this is really cool for Facebook, but it still doesn't solve, to your point, that entire attribution problem, where this is just going to be Facebook and Instagram and Messenger and then WhatsApp if that's added somewhere down the road. They're never going to be able to see Google or Twitter or any of those other ads. So again, if I click on a Google ad to buy an ascot and I purchase it after I click on a Facebook ad, each one of those different networks is still going to be having their own conversions because they don't talk together, because they don't like each other. So that's still just, it seems like some people might think this is a silver bullet here, but it is just another piece of the attribution puzzle that we are all working to solve. Yeah.
And the only other negative too that I can see, or I guess downside, is that you can't then use this data to pull it back into your ads and try to optimize.
Right.
There's at least not automatically. Obviously, there's things you can do if you're a smart marketer, but maybe someday.
Okay. And next up, Google Ads announces new click-to-message ad features and store visits updates. And this information was announced at SMX East 2018. And there are really two major updates coming to Google Ads, mainly on the store visits, obviously, and then click-to-message. Click-to-message was launched, I believe it was early last year, and there are some new features coming that, at least for the advertiser, are really nice because it makes it not as message. 'Cause who wants to sit around and text people all day long?
Not me.
So what has come out is email forwarding, so that any of the texts that are come in can be responded via email, and you don't need a phone number in order to manage these extensions. And also, to click the message, there's automatic replies. So you don't have to sit around and have somebody message from an ad and just wait. And we're now going to have some auto replies. And then lastly, there will work these into conversions. So you will now be able to track these as conversions, even though something doesn't happen on the site itself. So how do you do that? You may be asking. Well, I've got the answer. They will be looking at things like the defined number of communications that it typically takes for a user to complete the intended conversion action. What does that mean? No idea.
Are they just going to figure that out on their own? Is that like a machine learning type thing? Did it say?
The example is that you're an auto dealer, and on average, it takes you about 2 messages, just 2 exchanges, in order to get a test drive booked. So in that case, if you're an auto dealer, your message exchange conversion would be 2 exchanges. So again, it's kind of hard to know because your second exchange might be buzz off,
right?
You know? But who knows? So,
and I hope they're not counting those automatic replies as an exchange either, right?
I would imagine that would not be happening, but it is still too early to tell. And then secondly, for any of the store visits, which we've talked about quite a bit here on Marketing the Clock, it's now going to be taken into some of the smart bidding. So you'll be able to bid differently, bid smarter, using that machine learning and artificial intelligence to increase your store visitation. And store visits in Google Analytics is rolling out to eligible advertisers coming soon. So store visits not going anywhere, and again, you can bid a little bit better for that.
That's awesome. I'm excited, especially about the fact that it'll come into GA. So huge stuff. All right. The Google Local Pack is now showing book and schedule buttons for some businesses. So this is something I think we've talked about a little bit in the past. It's been kind of slowly rolling out. the article said since 2015, which seems like forever ago now. But
it's like 3 years or something.
In internet time, in internet years, it's like dog years or the opposite or whatever. I don't know. That's a long time for the internet, right?
21 years in dog years, I believe.
Right. But wouldn't internet years be backward? I don't know.
How could anybody know that?
they could not. You're absolutely
I'm gonna have
right.
to bing it after this.
We'll bing it. So back on topic, the reserve with Google integration is they're really pushing it, basically, I should say, into the search results. And
this is a good thing, right?
Here's the thing. What they're trying to do here, I think, is a good thing, because the point is to get direct conversions, booking or scheduling of appointments from search. And I know that there's the whole side rant about, no, I want people to come to my website so I can remarket them, whatever. Google's putting too much on Google. There's that. But if somebody's directly converting from search, I am okay with that. What I'm not okay with is the fact that they're kind of doing this on their own. And they're obviously they've told advertisers, but they're not giving advertisers any control. And it's basically, if you work with one of the partners that Reserve with Google works with, you're automatically getting this book tickets or schedule an appointment added to your local listing. And there's not a way for you to turn it off, B, a way for you to change, anything that's in there. It's all automatically done for you. And C, I just feel like it would be really nice if I could use that CTA button to send people to my site, because a lot of these services, they're not free, right? They're taking a cut of your sale, or you're paying just to have them. And I feel like that's kind of unfair when businesses are already, they spend money to have a nice ticketing system on their own website, for example. And now you can't even send people there.
Yeah. And if you can't see Jess's face right now, it's got a more sour look than came off. And the big issue for me with this is, it's not, and Jess has, just again, to back up, a major tourism, one of our clients is in the tourism space. And when you book tickets through another company, you don't make as much money. And
sure don't.
Taking that flexibility away from a company to say, I can't offer my own tickets, I can't sell my own tickets, but if you're a ticket partner, then those will show up, and that's what's going to show up under your name. That is not great. Great. Again, it's a cool feature, but something that could be problematic, and we're seeing a little problem here. In case that didn't come through these microphones here.
Yeah, so. I feel like on the surface it seems like a really nice thing, and Google, if they were in the room, would probably be like, yeah, but there's still a link to your website. People can send it there, and yeah, that's fine. But maybe just let me then turn off the CTA button if you're not going to let me change where it goes. So anyway, end rant.
Great, and that brings us to this week's lightning round. First up this week, Google tackles a new ad fraud scheme. Internal systems had missed some violating websites, or actually, they had blocked violating websites, but missed some apps that were monetizing with Google. And a lot of these mobile app sites have now been blocked, but there was a large push of invalid clicks.
Yeah, I just giggle every time someone says fraud or something's going on. I don't know if we're just paying more attention now, or if people are paying more attention, or if the world is just being hacked to death. But it seems like we report on this every week.
Yeah, you know what else might help? Hey, giving us the ability to block apps.
Oh,
that'd be nice.
When we used to be able to do that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah. YouTube has released a final update on their priorities for 2018. The article starts out with, Dear creators, since 2005, YouTube has transformed from a single video at the zoo to a global video library. I think that's really cute, and I would love to see that video. But it goes into a really serious letter, I guess. We'll call it a letter. It goes into some pretty serious stuff. There's a new directive new directive the EU is working on that apparently threatens the ecosystem, the creative ecosystem that YouTube and platforms like it use and feed off of. So they're concerned about that. They also talk a little bit about some of their other commitments and initiatives for 2018 as it closes, like better policy enforcement and more transparency and everything like that. This is a lightning round, so I'm not going to get into any of it, but you definitely should read it, especially if you are a YouTube creator. They're calling for action from a lot of their users to try and tell Europe what's what.
And this was really surprising too, because when YouTube did their final update on priorities for 2018, I actually penned my own final update on YouTube's priorities in my mind for 2018. It goes a little something like this. Dear YouTube, please kill off all of those annoying marketers schlepping their stuff on every one of those TrueView ads. I don't care what kind of car Billy Bob's buying with all the marketing that he's made, or what the next marketing fad is, or what I can learn in 30 seconds. Get some real ads, YouTube. Hey, that's what we want in 2019.
Real ads.
Less gurus. Okay. Next up, Apple is looking at $2 billion from search ads business alone by 2020. And Apple's search ad business, which is in the app discovery space, will generate $500 million in fiscal dollars in 2018 alone, and it should be quadrupling, according to Apple Insider, without any extra push by 2020.
And for those of you confused by the name search ads in Apple, that's their app ads where you search within the App Store. I feel like there needs to be a better name. It's kind of confusing. All right. New research shows that Facebook is making strides against false news. I love all these fluffy stories. Everyone's trying to feel good about themselves as the year closes. So 3 different research studies have shown that posts with misinformation as well as engagement with that content has gone down significantly over the last few years, which again, in internet time is a long time. So it's a nice warm and fuzzy story about Facebook learning from its mistakes, partnering with academics, and the whole world working together to solve the fake news problem. So check it out.
And I don't know if you know this, but I know how they solved this fake news problem.
How's that?
They just stopped showing news and stopped showing brand posts. They said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to take your reach and just kill it all to death.
I mean, it worked, right? All the academic community is really proud of what they've done.
No news, no fake news, no real news.
Boom.
All good news.
No news.
All right, next up, Snapchat is a popular source for news among college students. Great. A. B, there's a survey of 5,000 and some students, and Facebook was number 1, and Snapchat was behind Facebook as second place. Behind Facebook's 89% of sources for news, Snapchat was 71% of those respondents said they get Snapchat for their news.
Well, hopefully they'll start getting more news from Snapchat, because as we just discussed, Facebook's a great place for news these days. Okay, college students might be using Snapchat for news, but teens have other plans. Instagram has just surpassed Snapchat as the most used app among American teens, according to a new Wall Street survey. And again, I'm sure they survey large numbers of people, so this is more impressive than it sounds, but here we go. The survey found that 85% of teens say they use Instagram at least once a month, while 84% said that they use Snapchat at least once a month. So more people said they use Instagram once a month than Snapchat, but the majority of the people that took the survey still said that Snapchat was their favorite social network. So there's really nothing here.
Yeah, there's nothing. And the source was a bank in England, I believe a British bank, but the name of the bank is Piper Jaffray. And I just thought that's a great name for a dog. If you've got a dog, little Piper, and you could have her come up. But the other thing is, it's 85% to 84%. And the headlines, of course, are like, oh, the gram is so much better than Snapchat. But it's a percentage.
Yeah.
So cool down, Piper Jaffray.
Pipe down, Piper.
Good boy. All right, next up, making it easier to control your data directly in Google products. When now you used to have to go into Google, into accounts in Google to change some of your settings or delete your search activity. Now you can do that right within your searches. So if you perform some sort of wonky search, or you slip up and type something in, don't want it in search history, you no longer have to go back into your accounts. You can click up on the left and hop into your search activity to delete that last search that you made.
That's really nice. Remember all the anxiety that you had in high school with MySpace and making sure your profile let everyone know exactly who you were at that moment?
I wasn't in high school.
What were you in?
I don't even know.
Middle school. You're such a youngin'.
Okay.
Well, for those of us that had to go through that trauma, it's back. Not MySpace, but Facebook is now going to let people add music to stories and their profiles.
Great. I am just looking forward towards when we can get those customized animated backgrounds. I like the little stars that twinkle. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah. All right, Facebook, challenge.
Okay, next up, the Graph API of Facebook version 3.2 is launched. It also includes the Marketing API version 3.2 and updates to Facebook Login and Messenger app. So if you're using any of these services, you may need to check this out. There is some upgrades to the Instagram graph, page insights, pages, and video polls.
Sweet. In facelift news, YouTube has upgraded the look of their embedded video format. This is actually really cool. There's now, when you hover over, there's the name of your channel in the top left of the video. And when you hover over it, there's actually an option to subscribe to that channel right from within the embedded video. They also made a few other changes too, but they were minor compared to that. I feel like that's super awesome.
Yeah, and the new embeds look really good. If you want to see this, the best way to do it is to take this very episode of Marketing O'Clock, grab the embed code, and just put it right on your homepage. And you'll see the embed code and how it looks.
And then you can subscribe to our channel.
And all of your other visitors will too. Next up, there was an article from the New York Times saying, Google is teaching children how to act online. Is it the best role model? Basically, Google had come out with a game called Interland, where you could be internet awesome and hopefully not share too much of your data. And there was some pushback saying that this is very Google branded, a lot of the different colors, and is Google the right company to be doing this, seeing some of their recent issues?
Yeah, I mean, again, this doesn't directly correlate, but it just makes me think of some of the other educational programs that Google puts out there for us marketers and how it's all very brainwashy, feely, and that everything is bright and sunny at Google. So I'm sure it's fine.
I wish that Google would put out a dictionary program where they could then define something like exact match so that they could find out what it actually meant.
Ouch. Google, if you need some aloe for that burn, give us a call. All right. Businesses can now add products to their Google My Business listing. Each of those products gets a name, an image, a description, and a price. This is new. People may recall that services were something that you could add. Now products are something that you can add.
That's cool. One of the things I learned in college, I didn't learn that much, but I did learn that a product is a good or a service. So just for what it's worth, if anybody's ever like, hey, what's a product? It's a good or a service. You can just say product for anything.
Oh.
So I like this.
Look at this product that we have here.
It's a service, and it's good.
Wow.
All right, next up, there's a new Google Search Console notice for slow loading pages. You will get a warning notice via the Search Console if any pages are really slow, and it'll tell you the domain that it's on if it's significantly below average.
I feel like that's a really nice thing for Google to do, obviously, but I think people that aren't checking their site speed anyway are probably the people that don't have Search Console access to their own site. So, grain of salt, I guess. New announcement from my favorite word to say, Quora. They have a new thing in beta called Promoted Answers, which is kind of like a boosted post on Facebook where if you have a really good answer, you just hit a little promote button and get it out to more people's faces.
Now, the thing I wonder about this is it's cool because you could maybe have like a really good answer and boost it up and try to get some momentum going along. But what if you just start trolling people? Like if I go to every scientific question that's asked and I just relate it to the flat earth theory and I just promote it so that I'm to the top. I mean, that seems like a bad user experience.
Or good if you're the troll.
Well, if you're the troll, yeah.
Wow.
Bad if if you believe in science.
Most people don't, right?
No. It's fake. Fake news.
Good point, though. I hope Quora is listening.
All right. And that does it for the news. But it brings us to this week's must-read marketing article of the week. An article so in-depth, so detailed that we cannot cover it fully here on Marketing O'Clock. And this week's article is called How to Find Bigger and Better Audiences to Reach Using Google Analytics from the one and only Joe Martinez. And you can find him on Twitter at MilwaukeePPC. And he breaks down some ways that you can look at your audience data using audience reports in Google Analytics. There's some great examples of items that you can slice and dice, like affinity audiences, and he also lists out a bullet point checklist of all the other data that you can pull from your Google Analytics report. So check that out. It's over on WordStream. You can find that in our show notes below.
Super awesome.
Okay, and that does it for today's show. It is now officially not Marketing O'Clock.
And remember that you can catch all of the content from today's show at marketingoclock.com or in the descriptions below if you're watching us on the YouTubes. So remember to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And hopefully this is an embedded video and you've hovered to the left. Click subscribe.
All right, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.